Hello everybody, this is Vincent from Affiliate Theme.io and this video is about shortcodes. So let's just go to a page. In that case we're going to choose our landing page and we will insert a new text area. And now we can already start inserting shortcodes. So up here in this bar you can see this button shortcodes. We can click this and we have all options within the affiliate theme to create shortcodes. So if you're not sure about some of those shortcodes, just check out our documentation and choose the shortcodes article. Here you have each and every shortcode explained in detail. So let's just start with the first shortcode here, which is the grid layout. So basically with the grid system, you can divide the content of your website in different sections. So the different options here are just the ratios. So for example, you can divide your content in half. So that would be the first option. In that case, you have two columns, each 50% of the content section. So you could do that, or you choose a 1/3 layout. We can just choose 1/3 for now. And I will already insert some content here. Let's just pick some lorem ipsum for that. Insert it for each column and click Insert Shortcode. And as you can see, after you just clicked Insert Shortcode, it is inserted into the visual editor of your text field. So we're going to click Update and take a look at our front page. So let's just go here, and this is the page we created in the last video, and at the bottom we have the new text area we just inserted via shortcodes, and you can see that the grid layout created 3 different columns, each 1/3 of the page. Let's move on to buttons. So we now finished the grid layout section. Of course, you can also choose more complex layouts here, but the system is the same as I just explained. So let's move on to buttons. So first of all, we have an example page linked here. We're going to go there and we can see how the buttons that we're able to insert with this shortcode can look like. So you can see you have plenty of options here. First of all, the color, then you can see that hover colors are defined. You can see that you can change the size, the style, so should it have rounded corners or not. And you can, well, also combine those two. And you can also insert little icons here. For example, if you want to imply that this is a clickable download link, the button itself. So let's just go back to the edit page. So let's just assume we want to add 3 download links that should have the form of a button. So let's just say download here as the text that will be displayed inside the button. The link, well, we don't have it actually, so let's just keep a hashtag here. So now we can change the color. So we're going to make this a red button for download. Size normal is okay. Again, here you can change this. Then we can change how the borders should look like. So if it should have rounded borders, or it can also be a square, for example. A contour outline for this one is not necessary. Then you can define if this button should be displayed full width, so it will take this the size of 100%. So if you are inside a section, for example, let's say here, 100% would be from here until here. If you're inside a grid layout, 100% would be from here until here. So always the 100% inside the section you work in. So we don't really need it to be full width, I think. So here we can now define what kind of icon should be displayed. Once again, as we had it earlier, you can look this up on the Font Awesome website. and just copy and paste. Let's just take this one. You can just copy and paste this part of the code, insert it here, and the button will be displayed. So now we can define if the button should be displayed on the left or on the right. I will just define left. Now, if this is a clickable button, so if this directs to another page, or well, generally to links to another page, you can define if this should be in the current tab or if the browser should open a new tab. We will just keep no, as we don't have any link inserted here. No follow or follow link, we can still define this, and maybe add a CSS class to customize this button even further, but we don't really need this right now. So we're going to insert the shortcode. Now we have it here, and so earlier we defined this little text here, so I'm just going to put this button at the end of each paragraph. So I'm going to the second paragraph and the third paragraph, and I'm going to click update and refresh my front end, and you can see now the buttons are displayed next to the text. So as we can see, the buttons right now are displayed right after the text, but we want a line break there so that the button is displayed beneath the text. So we're just going back to our editor, and we just move it down one line. We go to the second button here, also move it one line down. We go to the last button now and move it one line down. Click update and refresh our front end, and we can see that it's now displayed beneath the text. So this is how the buttons work. You can also see if you hover over the button, there's already a hover color defined, which is slightly lighter than the default color you see right now. So all this is already taken care of, and you can see if I click it now, I just inserted a hashtag here as a link, so it's just going to the top of the page. But if you were to insert a link that, in that case, for a download link, maybe directs to a PDF file or something, it would directly download it. So next, let's talk about the alerts section here. Basically the alert shortcode highlights text on your website. So first of all, you can define the style. So what color, what highlighting color you want to have. So let's just say green is fine for us. You can define whatever color you want. And once again, insert some text here. I'm just going to take some lorem ipsum again. Just copy and paste it, insert shortcode, the shortcode is inserted. We update our page, take a look at the front end, and beneath our new section, we should have this alert setting. So you can see that the text is now green itself and has this little green line and is inside a box. So if you want to highlight something customers should be aware of, you can use this. This makes the text a bit more attractive than just simply writing paragraphs. So on our demo site, you can still see the other slide, the other alerts. So you have green, blue, yellow, which is more like orange, and red. So let's move on to the media shortcode. So we go back to shortcodes, click media, and this option is sensible if you want to add pictures to a text, for example, and you want the text to flow around the image, for example, and you want it to be handled properly on all devices. So this just gives you a hand to make this easier. So if you want it to be displayed on the left side of the text, you just choose media left. Then you can say horizontal orientation. So should it be displayed above, centered, or below? We're just going to keep above. Then you have to insert an entire HTML tag here. So I'm going to do this. actually not like this, but as explained here on our documentation page, you just have to enter the regular IMG source code. So this is just how you usually insert an image via HTML. So you just have this IMG tag and you have to insert a source. So where is this file actually? So I'm going to delete this because we don't have it on our server, but we do have this file here, and I'm just copying the URL. I go back to my shortcode manager, insert this, and last but not least, we want the content to be there. So I'm just going to copy a bit longer lorem ipsum, paste it here, click insert code, shortcode, and refresh here as well. So you can see now, as we chose, the image is displayed on the left side and the text on the right side. And this is a very easy way and is also responsive. So if you were to like do this, you can see that this is automatically adjusted. So the next shortcode on our list is tabs. Tabs are also, well, a pretty obvious thing. So here on our demo page, you can see tabs are just like those clickable content boxes that display if you click them. So for example, if you explain something about manufacturers of the product you promote, you might want to have, like for cameras, for example, a Canon, Nikon and Leica tab, for example. So this is like people can see this more easily and they don't have to have like a very long text and don't find what they're searching for, but actually have those tabs. So this is also very easy to do. You can choose how many tabs you want here. And well, let's just say example 1, enter once again some lorem ipsum, example 2, example 3, and we click insert shortcode again, update our backend, refresh our front end, and we can see that we have those different tabs now. You can see that the content doesn't really change because I always inserted the same amount of text, but you know, this is a different content if you click it. And you can also see that the colors were automatically adjusted to the corporate identity colors we defined inside the customizer. So those are the tabs. So the next option is accordion. So this is from principle similar to the tabs. An accordion looks like this. So you can click the plus and the content opens. So this is just another orientation than the tabs, but fundamentally it's the same. So we're going to do the same here. And in addition, we can define if this should be by default opened or closed. So let's just say the first one should be open so the customer can read it right away, and the other ones should be closed. 3 and some content. Again, insert shortcode, update the page, go back to the front end, refresh. And here we have our accordion. So the first one, as we defined, is opened by default, and then the second and the third one open like this. So last but not least, we're going to add some blog posts. I did this in an earlier video about the page builder, but let's just revisit this page for a second. So basically this can insert your blog on any page with a shortcode. So you can first of all define how many posts should be displayed. So let's just say 10, by what identifier it should be sorted. So let's just keep date for now. If it should be descending or ascending, how it should be displayed. So if it should be a thumbnail, large, simple list, or grid, we will just choose grid because we already have a simple list on our landing page. Categories and text can still make you choose a specific group of posts. So for example, if you just want posts about gaming gadgets, you were to choose that category, but for us it's not relevant for right now. So after inserting the shortcode for blog posts, we will update our backend and go back to the front end to take a look at the result. And you can see that now the blog posts are displayed in a grid layout, and if you click them, you go right to the blog post itself. If you want to see just like how this regularly looks like, this is when you insert the simple list of posts. I personally prefer this, so you just have a classic list of posts as you are used to it from WordPress blogs. So now let's move on to the most important shortcode we have in this list, and this is the product shortcode. So here you can insert and display products in a variety of ways. So let's just start with a simple way. Let's say we want first of all, how many products you want to be displayed. Let's just say we want 10 products to be displayed. How you want it to be sorted. So again, here you can change something. I'm just going to pick rating now, and in a descending order. Now we can filter the products, so we can define which products should be displayed. Either we do this by hiding an amount of products or by only displaying an amount of products. So in that case, I'm going to choose display product selection. And now you can choose from the products you imported to your system. So let's just start by adding some gaming monitors again. And this one, so we have a bit more for this example. And yeah, I think that should be sufficient for the beginning. And now we can define a very important option, and this is the layout. So either you display those products as a grid with hover effect, as a table, or as a table, well, as a table with a y-axis or with an x-axis. So let's just take a look at how those different options look like. So before we decide for the layout on our page, we're going to look at the different layouts on our demo web page. So now I will start with the grid layout. So this is this layout. You can see that all the products are displayed within grids with a picture and all the information we inserted. And we can also choose grid hover. So this just means if you hover over the product, you can choose all the images that are uploaded and defined as images of this product, and also like the highlights will be displayed, and you just have more options and you have this nice graphic effect. Then we have the list option. So this is the most classic way to display products. So it's just a list of products with all the information on it. So everything that you defined within custom fields and taxonomies. And now we come to the most interesting part, which is the table. So here you have the actual comparison table you can use to compare products in a very compact way. So this is the usual table in an x-axis. Then we have the table in a y-axis, but most of all you see those x-axis tables, and you don't have to program all this yourself, but you can just insert it with this shortcode and define plenty of things. So you saw now how those other layouts like the grid and the grid hover and the list look like. I think we don't really have to choose this on our own side because this is pretty self-explanatory, but the product as an x-axis table and a y-axis table is very interesting. So let's just go back to our layout. So we're going to choose x-axis for this example. And now, as I defined ratings in an earlier video for those products, I will click show here so that just take a look at this again, you can see that a rating is displayed here. So we want this to happen as well on our website. So we say show, and then the button detail and buy, we know from other options from our site, should both be displayed. Also, we want all the properties to be displayed. Well, a minimum and maximum price are not necessary here because we already defined which products should be displayed, no matter what price they have or what they cost. And then you can define like if only deals should be displayed, if you want a slider, which is, by the way, just relevant for the grid layout. So then you can have this slider activated. We don't need this for our table. And also you can specify what product should be displayed by the taxonomies defined, in our case manufacturer, departments and equipment. But we don't need this as we chose the products we want. But you could just say, like, for example, here you could just choose like gaming monitor, and then all gaming monitors would be displayed. This could also be an easier way than just picking them here from the list. So you see there are a lot of ways to come to a result. So now we inserted the shortcode. I click update. I go back to the front end, and you can see that we have now this big comparison table here with our review, with the rating, with all the custom fields we defined. Also, we have our cart Amazon plugin here. We have the details and the buy now button. So this is already pretty neat, but let's just change this to another layout. So here is now a table X, and of course you can just go up here again and click shortcode and product and insert everything again. But actually you can just take a look at the code here, and you can see that it says here layout is equal to table X in parentheses. So let's just change this to table Y. And this is also a way how you can change your shortcodes. Just get familiar with the code a bit. And you can see that we have now a comparison table with the Y-axis. That's a different way to display the products. So let's move on to the next shortcode, which is the info box. So this displays an info box for a product you chose. So it's similar to the product section, but well, this is really just an info box, and it's just for one product. So let's just choose one gaming monitor, insert it. I think this did not work. Let's just do it again. We go to info box, pick the product, click insert, and you can see that this little shortcode was added. We click update. Now beneath our site we should have a little info box, and actually this really just displays the price and the buy now button. So this is rather relevant if you work, for example, inside a single product page and you want the price to be displayed, or just also the affiliate link. So maybe you use this, maybe you don't, it's an option. So the next shortcode is the price comparison. This option only makes sense if you imported a product from different affiliate partners. So just to see this, how this looks like on our front end, this monitor was imported from Comtech, Amazon and eBay. So a price comparison actually makes sense. So you can see here's a price comparison, and we have the price trend down here. We talked about this in an earlier video, but now it is about inserting this price comparison on any page with a shortcode. So I'm going to pick the monitor I just talked about. It's from BenQ. I click insert shortcode, just move it down a bit, click update, and go back to our landing page. And you can see now the price comparison for this one gaming monitor is displayed. So next, let's take a look at the responsive content shortcode. So everything you paste into this content section will only be displayed to designated devices. So for example, we just created our landing page, and it's pretty long. It has a lot of text, and you might want to have a different version of this website for users on the smartphone. So let's just assume we want to hide a certain area on smartphones, and well, we can stay with this style block, because this really doesn't matter, because we said it should be hidden for smartphones. So we will insert some text here, click insert shortcode and update our page. So after updating our page, we go back to our front end, and we can see that the text we just inserted is displayed right now because we're on a desktop PC, right? So let's just emulate a smartphone display. So right now, this is the view you have on your smartphone. We scroll down, all this we defined earlier. And now, after our y-axis comparison table, the text was displayed on our desktop, but you can see now on the smartphone it is not displayed. So this is what this is for. Like if you say, oh my gosh, all this text, this is really not necessary for a consumer or client on smartphone, then you just choose this shortcode, or you just put this shortcode around the object you don't want to be displayed on a specific device. So let's move on to the last shortcode on our list. We have to go to the bottom of this page and insert the last shortcode. So we go to Taxonomy Images. So for example, you can display different kind of taxonomies here, and sometimes you have pictures that go along with certain categories of that taxonomy. So just to make this a bit more concrete, we go to our taxonomy section, and we're going to deal with the taxonomy manufacturer now. So you have this long list of manufacturers here, and for some manufacturers I defined a logo. So for example, for BenQ I defined this logo right here. And now imagine you want to display an overview of all the manufacturers of a specific category of products. BenQ is part of this summary, and for this we have this Taxonomy Images shortcode. So we're going to pick manufacturers because we want manufacturers to be displayed, not more than 15 manufacturers, sorted by name. The order should be ascending, so we'll start with ASA or ASUS or something. We will say ignore empty entries, we just want the relevant ones. We don't have to ignore certain manufacturers, and we don't have to show specific entries, and we want to, well, we can ignore like ones that don't have an image added down here. So you might want to do this. I'm not going to do this because I didn't add that many images. And after updating, I go back to the front end and I scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you can see that now a list of all or of a number of manufacturers are displayed, and usually it is with an image like this, so you can just nicely display all the manufacturers. And if you click that link, you get right to this taxonomy BenQ and the products that you imported from them.